Welcome to Bold, a RoomRaccoon showcase series where we shine a light on independent hoteliers, rewriting the rules of hospitality. I'm your host, Nadja. Today, we are joined by Pauline from Tynecastle Park Hotel in Edinburgh, the UK's first hotel built inside a football stadium. With 25 stylish rooms, the award-winning Skyline restaurant, and unique matchday experiences, the hotel offers guests a chance to sleep, dine, and celebrate inside the home of Heart of Midlothian Football Club. Pauline has been part of this journey from the very beginning. Today, we'll hear her story, the inspiration behind this bold concept, and what it takes to craft a guest experience in such a unique setting. Well, Pauline, thank you and welcome to Bold. Before we dive into the hotel, tell us just a little bit about, your own journey. What is your background in hospitality, and how did it all come about?
So I actually come from a very corporate hospitality background. So I started working in hospitality when I was 18, just after I left high school. I worked for Hilton for almost 12 years. So I come from a very branded hotel background. So the move to Tynecastle was a bit of an adjustment for me, going from a very branded company where you know what you're doing and everything has a step-by-step guide to coming to Tynecastle, which when I first started, the hotel wasn't finished. We were still in the process of building rooms. It was still a building site. They had picked RoomRaccoon as the PMS, but that was all that had been done. None of the setup had been done. That was a massive adjustment for me. And then I remember first starting, putting all the processes in place, and it was such a daunting task because I was like, I've never had to do this. It was just been handed like a manual, like this is what you do. So being the person that was then writing that manual was a very big, like a massive step in my career. I started here as front of house manager doing the pre-opening, and then I got promoted to hotel operations manager in the January just before we opened. It's been a journey. It's been a crazy 2 years.
Well, that sounds definitely like an experience, but also something that, brings you forward, right? And makes you better in a way, and lets you discover. Yeah, I came, my background is not at all hospitality, so I just completely rolled into this. And my first day that I worked in a hotel was in my own hotel, not knowing what to do. And I had sticky notes everywhere and like how to turn on the oven and stuff. So you learn by doing, right? I mean, it is quite special, right? The first hotel in a stadium. Can you tell me a little bit about this concept and how it is?
Yeah, so they rebuilt the main stand, which is where the hotel's situated. So they rebuilt the stand in 2017. They have on the ground floor, there is the main reception for the football club. And there's also like the players' lounge, so where the players' families and things go on a match day. On the first floor, they added in hospitality suites. So for match day hospitality or conferences, things like that. The second floor, which is where the hotel is now located, was left blank because they didn't know at the time what they wanted to do with it. Did they make it more conference rooms? There was conversations of it being like offices for the staff. Like, was that what it was going to be? And then the reason they picked the hotel was it just made the most sense commercially. They were looking at something that would then drive revenue year round. The football club obviously runs July to May time, but there's maybe 2 or 3 matches a month. It's not an all year round business. And the demand for hotels and rooms in Edinburgh is so high that, that made the most sense commercially. So I'm really glad they went with the hotel.
Yeah, you already touched upon the seasonality, right? So I was wondering about this indeed. Their hospitality has seasons a little bit, and then the football has also seasons. But merging those together it's quite special and actually quite brilliant, right? I mean, it makes so much sense.
No, definitely. So we kind of get a bit of business from both. So on football days, we're predominantly fans that are coming to stay. We get quite a lot of like the match sponsors. They come and stay, especially on match days, because they want to be here. But we get so many different travelers from everywhere. I don't think anyone really saw it coming. when we first opened in the February, we done like a special opening offer for fans specifically. So probably for our first kind of 3.5 months, it was all football fans that came to stay. And then once that kind of tailed off, the amount of international tourism that we got, I don't think anyone was really expecting to get quite as quickly as it came. We're obviously just on the outskirts of the city centre, so our rates are slightly lower. So I think when people see that and then see the pictures of the rooms in the hotel, they're like, oh, well, that's slightly cheaper, but the product is so much better. Just because the amount of thought and effort that went into all the little details in the bedrooms. So our product is a really high standard product, but we're priced at a slightly lower price point just because of our location. So I think that's why we get quite a lot of the business that we actually get.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, don't forget, for you, it's maybe normal, but it's an experience by itself, right? So I've seen, of course, your rooms, they are really beautiful and there's quite some eye for detail. So how do you match like this? You also already named quite some different target groups, right? Like sponsors, for example, versus fans. How do you merge like those two kind of target groups?
Everyone expected when the hotel opened it was going to be very football orientated, like because you're building a hotel on a football ground, like it's going to be very football orientated, but it's really not. There are slight touches of hearts in the room. So the cushions on the bed are Heart of Midlothian tartan. The carpet that is under the bed is like a maroon colour, but not specifically hearts. Our little biscuits that we give in the room are called Jammy Dodgers because the nickname of the football club is the Jammed Hearts because they're hearts. So there's slight touches of football, but nothing major. Unless you book one of our Roseburn rooms. So that's one of our internal rooms. So they don't have a physical window. What they do have is a mock TV, which shows a live feed of the football pitch.
Okay.
So you can be sitting in your room, you can watch like the groundsman out cutting the grass, like you can see the football when it's on, you can sit in your room and watch the football if you wanted to. So it gives the illusion of a window. And because it's a live feed, it's still light or dark when it's light or dark outside, but it's not a physical window. So that room was really popular with our fans when we first opened because they got like a background insight into the pitch. Especially when we done our pitch renovations at the end of the season. So there was fans staying in the rooms while they were laying the new pitch and things like that. So they were all fascinated by it because it's something that's normally done behind closed doors, like no one would ever see that. So the Roseburn rooms are really unique in the fact that that mock TV gives you a kind of background look. Yeah.
But that's super creative. I mean, there are quite some hotels that struggle with having rooms that do not have a window. And these are usually being sold for nearly to nothing, right? Because of that fact. But that you actually created a window and like a live
we've
feed.
made like a unique selling point because we can't have a window. Because the hotel was built within a pre-existing structure, we've had to work with the space that was here. So you can't have a window because then you'd have to move the seats from the main stands with the way the rooms are designed. So it was a really genius idea. One of our project managers from the build, Derek, it was his idea because he'd been on holiday and they had a room without a window. And I want to say he said it was like a sea view. They'd put up like a fake window with like a sea view. So it still felt like they had a window. And that's where the idea for the live pitch view came from.
Yeah, it's absolutely great because, as you said, it was is your one most popular room. So you turn something negative into something most popular, right? So that's quite genius for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, respect to him and the ideas, but that often happens, right? Like you do get ideas from when you are traveling or when you're seeing other hotels or when you're looking for solutions and being able to incorporate that. I think that's also a strength of independent hotels, right? That you actually can go a little bit more down this creative route or creativity in general instead of having to, apply to a certain standard that is maybe set in bigger hotel chains.
Yeah.
Really well done. And then you are obviously all into automation, and I think you are having digital keys, of course, and you also have some upsell. How does it work for you? Because you do get quite some direct bookings. So how does it work?
So the upsells featured on RoomRaccoon is a massive help. So we have links in all of our pre-arrival documents that we send out to our guests, so they can add it on. They can either add it on at the point of booking, the point of they get their pre-arrival email 3 days before. They can add it on then, and then we also do a pre-arrival call as well, so we can add it on physically from our side as well. But it's really big, especially for things like twin rooms, because I remember working for Hilton and the amount of people that would turn up on the day and be like, "Oh, we need a twin room," and housekeeping's all gone for the day. There's one person on reception. Like, so you have to just go twin a room. So that feature is massive for us because it gives people 3 chances to add that on if they do need it. So that's massive for us. It's also a really big revenue booster, especially I think when we put the link in the pre-arrival, because it kind of preempts people to, oh, we're coming for a birthday. Oh, I'll just add on a bottle of Prosecco. And then we obviously get that notification instantly, and we then have a permanent note of it on the booking. So we know on the day that room needs to get a bottle of Prosecco. But it's definitely a really big revenue booster for us because people can add it on. And some people, I think at the time they book, they're like, oh no, it's fine. Like, it's totally fine. But then it gets closer to the time, they're like, actually, it's our birthday. I better add on something. So yeah, the upsell ones for us are really, really good.
Yeah, I'm really good to hear. Especially what you said is both, right? Like it doesn't necessarily need to be an add-on that costs something, but it's just also helps in operations. I also had that relate 100% to the twin room. For me, my beds were, I only had 9 rooms, right? But there were suites, but some of those rooms I could separate the beds, but obviously that needs to be done. And in the evenings, I was standing alone at the reception. We were like dressed up in a black skirt, high heels, right? And then the guests come in and you walk upstairs with them and you open the door and you want to have this wow effect. And they're like, oh, yeah, actually, we would like to have twin rooms. So you're like,
yeah. I mean, and then it's always the case. So that feature is so good. Yeah, that feature is so good. Like, it doesn't cost them anything, but because they know they need a twin room and they get the chances to then add it on, it's massive. We still get the odd one that doesn't add it, that doesn't add it on, but it's very rare, I would say.
Yeah, it helps, right? And like the ones, it's also for the guest experience, right? They don't have to, go to a reception, request anything anymore. It's already there. And I'm quite keen. Yeah, I'm quite keen to hear, because you did work for bigger brands. How I mean, I would imagine that upselling is being probably trained to the staff members, like on the reception, but I also can imagine that many receptionists maybe they're not really sales tigers, right? Like some of them probably get the red cheeks when they have to ask for something. How's your experience with that?
So at Hilton, we used to upsell breakfast on reception. That was a big thing. But as soon as it gets busy and you've got like 15 people waiting to check in, like the breakfast upsell, it goes out of your head because you're like, I just need to get the queue down. And then, as you say, some people are not confident to ask because you're asking someone to spend more money, but some people are not confident, especially if you've got a receptionist who's 18. They're not really overly confident to be like, oh yeah, like we've also got this promotion running. Do you want to add it? I think our team that we have here are very good. The receptionists come from very different backgrounds, and only one comes from a hospitality background. So the staff we have here came because of it's part of Hearts Football Club. That's why they've came. So they've all come from very varied backgrounds, and they're all very confident individuals. So for us, that's a massive thing. And considering they don't all come from a hospitality background is crazy. But I think it's because they're all so passionate about the football club. So that's where they're confident. That's where their confidence comes from. Because to them, they're not selling a hotel, they're selling the football club. And because they're all fans of the football club, they're like, I know what I'm like, you can do it. Yeah. It's like sometimes people will ask us to see the football pitch like on a day. And I will take people out and I'll show them the football pitch, but I can give you very little information because I'm not a football fan. But 2 of our receptionists in particular, Sarah and Emma, they can take football fans out and they can be away for 25, 30 minutes because they've got so much knowledge about the football club that they just chat away. But yes, they're probably the most confident team I think I've ever worked with, really.
But that is also such an extension of your guest experience, right? Something that you have to
Yes.
offer. It's a
Yeah.
unique experience that if I'm being brought out to a football park pitch and I actually, I'm really interested in getting a little bit of the inside stories or like how does it work
Yes.
from day to day, you really take something along. It's so much more than a hotel room, right? That you
Yeah,
are
no,
experiencing.
definitely. And some of our guests who turn up don't even know the hotels within a football ground. Like they've maybe booked on booking.com and they've just seen Tynecastle Park Hotel, £102. They're like, right, we'll book that. And then they come and they're like, what is this place? But yeah, it's crazy the amount of guests we have that don't know it's a football ground, but then get really invested as well. And they're like, oh, can we see the pitch? And we'll go to the shop and we'll buy some merchandise. So it's actually like a full round experience. It's not just you come, you stay the night, and then you leave.
And have you incorporated that maybe in this pre-arrival emails to stress on this a little bit more? Like, hey, you are staying in this unique experience now that they actually know.
Yeah, it doesn't specific. It does say obviously we're part of Hearts Football Club, but I think people just think we're maybe like affiliated with the club. We're not actually joined. So that's a really good idea to actually put in a specific bit in the pre-arrival.
I
To like,
would shout that
we
from
are
the roof,
located
eh?
in the football club. Like we are located here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is really unique and you can leverage on that. This is absolutely
Yes, no,
amazing.
definitely. Yeah.
And then you just mentioned booking channels like booking.com and you
Yes.
also have direct booking. So how is that for
Yeah.
you guys? How's
Probably about 65% OTA bookings and then about 35% direct bookings. Most of our fan bookings come directly. Also, if we have any events or anything on, like in the local area. So we are located like a 10-15 minute walk from Murrayfield Stadium. So that's the Scottish rugby stadium. But they do big concerts and things like that. So we get a lot of direct bookings from that if people come stay specifically for the concerts and the rugby. But most of our international bookings come from booking.com and Expedia. But our direct bookings are definitely still quite high. I think because we have the unique football fan base, they'll either phone to book or they'll just pop into reception to book. So we have a unique split in guests that come and stay.
Yeah. And then if you have to think about, you are probably the best to tell. Like I only was an independent hotelier. You have seen both sides of the world. So
Yeah.
if you have to give some independent hoteliers some tips, like what would be the most important thing, especially because you have also done the whole build of the hotel, right? Like
Yes.
you've seen how that
Yeah.
went with the rooms and is there
Yeah.
anything that you can think of that you say like, hey, this is something you really should not forget?
I think just having like a unique concept, not just it's another hotel. I think having like a unique concept, a specific selling point, and a proper vision of what you actually want. So we were obviously very set on it was never going to be a football branded hotel, but there would be subtle hints of football within the hotel. I think having like a specific vision of what you want and what you think your visitors that are going to come will want. We knew the football fans would love like the Hearts cushions, like they would get that. But I get an outside guest who would come and stay would just like, oh, they're really nice cushions. Like, do you know what I mean? So like they work for both sets of people and both sets of tourists get something different from that. So yeah, I think just having like a set vision of where you want to go and what you want your hotel to be.
Yeah, like a strategy, right? And then stick with it and be consistent, I think, along with communication and with your total goal. So why is it actually that you didn't go like full on football style in the rooms?
I think it was because so we wanted obviously the hotel to be a year-round business.
Yeah.
And as I said before, football isn't. So we couldn't rely on football fans to fill you up 7 nights a week. You can't rely on that because there's maybe one match at home for the whole of September. There's one match that's played here. So what do you do for the other 29 days in September? So for us, it was definitely we needed external business as well as the football business, which is our main focus is the football part of things. But the hotel specifically needs business 365 days a year. So yeah, it was a unique split in it would appeal to football fans, but it would also appeal to external travelers.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just widening the horizon to assure that your
Yes.
business can run the whole year, right? So, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
definitely, definitely.
okay. And then is there maybe something else like you predict for like the future of independent hospitality? I mean, there obviously is a difference between bigger chains and brands, and none is better
Yeah.
or worse, right? It's just different. So what do you think where this is going?
I think independents are becoming a lot more popular because I think they're priced slightly better than big chain brands. I also think you get an individualized experience in a smaller independent run hotel than you do from a massive chain hotel. You know what you're getting if you go and stay at Premier Inn or if you go and stay at Hilton. Like you know exactly what you're getting. You'll get the same anyone you go to. But I think the thing that's coming out now is independent hotels. Yeah, their price point's slightly better, and they also offer a unique experience. I think it kind of relates back to the whole, do you know, like with your food, like shopping local and not shopping big chain brands, and that seems to be a massive thing as well at the moment. So I think independent hotels kind of come under that brand. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think maybe also booking channels like a Booking.com or Expedia or something make it also
Yes.
more accessible because independents obviously don't have the marketing budgets as maybe a big
Yes.
brand has, but you're being
Yeah.
compared on reviews, for example, and indeed maybe also
Yeah.
on price. All right, super nice. Well, thank you for sharing all of this. Very insightful. And I think many hoteliers can learn a lot from that and get some ideas. And yeah, hopefully come and visit you in your stadium.
Yes, you're welcome anytime. Anytime.